Okay, so welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from all over the world, wherever you are joining from. I'm really excited to have you here today at Azure Community Conference, day two, for the second session for day one track for the talk demystifying artificial intelligence with Microsoft Cloud Azure. Uh, I'm Kasim Sheikh. I will be your speaker for the next for this particular session. And to give a quick intro of myself, I work as a cloud solution architect in Capgemini. I'm a published author with the Azure AI books. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. I do lead an Azure AI community named as Dear Azure Azure India, which is also a co-host for this conference, and I'm really glad to do so. So to start with, or uh, to explain the agenda or about the session. So if you are coming to this session, it's there is no prerequisite as such because many I have received many of the messages when the agenda was published, like whether we need to have any prerequisite with AI or something to attend this session. So it is as that is absolutely the answer is no. Yeah, it's not necessary you should have any knowledge of AI for joining this session. Even if you don't know AI, that is absolutely fine. Now, why I'm saying this? Because over the next 40 to 45 minutes, I will be giving you a high level overview of what AI is and how you can use AI with Microsoft Cloud Azure. So let's see. I will try to cover this agenda, or I will try to cover with more points if at all the time permits, and uh, we'll make sure we have some live demos and live in action, all those stuffs, and not just reading out the decks. But yes, let's make this session an interactive one. So if you have any questions, if you have any um doubts or something or any concerns, you can right now you can write it over here or ask the question, or you can reach me out to my LinkedIn channels or Twitter channels. And I really hope you had a great session before coming to this. So we have a very intelligent talks all about of mobile development and Kubernetes and messaging patterns and all. So let's make this session an useful one and insightful one, and let's learn something new from this. Okay. So to start with, let me open with a simple bot. Okay. Let's ask him something. Let's greet him first. Okay. Okay. So who are you? Okay. I'm here to help you with conference details. Fine. So what conference? Oh, so it's talking about Azure Community Conference, and it will be a 3-day multi-track visual virtual conference between 24-26 school. Like, who are the speakers? Okay, so he's giving a link altogether for the website where it's leading. Okay, azconf.day. Fine. Any keynote speakers? Cool. Well, let's see. Does this bot knows me? So who is Kasim Sheikh? Okay, so it just gave me the same intro which I just you know uh, read it out in my intro. Cool. So how this bot is being made of? Okay, how this all happened? How it was trying to read and understand what I was trying to say or what I was trying to, ask this bot all about, and it was responding me with the same intent or with the same response. Like when I asked about which conference, it replied me with the Azure Community Conference. When I asked who is Kasim Sheikh, he gave my links, my LinkedIn, YouTube channel links, and all. So how this happened? So this bot is all together made by the artificial intelligence and with using Azure services, okay, with using Microsoft Azure services. So what is artificial intelligence all about? So when you try to when you try or when you infuse the human capabilities into your software, that is all known as artificial intelligence. Okay, when your software tries to imitate the human capabilities, when your software tries to, tries to make decisions based on the data which we feed into that particular software or application, it tries, this is what is altogether known as artificial intelligence. So your application, if at all we don't provide any data, it's just stupid, right? Like it will follow whatever the business logic and the functional implementation we have. But when we want to give, or when we want to have that particular software, or when we want to have this particular application a human capabilities, okay, like if you give some that application an image, the applications or the software should understand what is that image all about. When we give some, when we try to speak it out, the application should know what we are trying to speak or what we are trying to ask, what we are, in which language we are trying to speak, in which what sentiments we are trying to speak, or which with intent we are trying to speak, or all this stuffs, all the human features, all like most of the human features of your language, decision making, the visions, this should be done, or this should be taken care, or this should be implemented or used, or uh, behave by the application of the software which you are developing. This is altogether known as infusing the AI in your application. Okay, so there were like we saw just engaging in a conversation with the bot. I was asking something and it was replying with the same intent. So how this was all about, like how the AI works, right? Now, when we talk about AI, we have many uh, you know buzzwords coming into the trend, like machine learning, data science, deep learning, neural network, etc., etc., etc. So to have a big picture, so what is artificial intelligence? It's a big domain. You can consider it as a big umbrella. And here, machine learning is a subdomain in the artificial intelligence. Okay, so machine learning fits in that particular artificial intelligence umbrella. Now, where deep learning comes in, that is another subdomain in machine learning. Fine. And here, all the three layers, all the three domains like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning are overlapped with data science. So it's all about huge data. It's all about great data. It's all about great compute. It's all about great algorithms that makes this, AI, or which makes your machine or your software intelligent, or your model more mature, more and more mature. So we'll see what is this machine learning all about. Okay, so to have a simple language, it's an you know a machine learning, you can say it's a technique we can use to create a predictive models based on the relationships in data. Like we can produce and we can fit in a kind of some datas, or a set of datas, or pattern of datas, and then we can use, or we can create a mature model, or we can create an intelligent model which will answer your or which will respond to your queries later based on the data which you have provided. So just consider we have different flowers all together in an big garden, and with different shapes, with different colors, with different size of patterns and all those stuffs. Now, what we want to do is like, now we have this all together, all the flowers, but we want some model, or we want some machine, so that when we show a kind of flower to that machine, it should reply, or it should respond with the type of that flower, like what that flower is all about. So what we did is like, we have all the flowers, we called just thing we have called a botanist, and he came and he just label all the flowers with the name based on those features, and all those shapes and all. And now we are infusing, we are feeding this data into machine. Okay, and we are creating a model of one machine model altogether. Okay, a machine learning model. And now when we produce, or when we request some flowers, or any flowers to this machine, so based on the data it has, it will respond to what this flower is all about. And this all phenomena, or this all thing which we just saw, it's what is machine learning. And when we talk about Azure AI services, these services, when we talk about Azure Cognitive Services, this services the power of AI, the power of the huge data, the power of huge compute and all. This everything is provided us as a machine learning service to why Microsoft Azure in the name of Azure Cognitive Services or Azure Machine Learning. So when we use this Azure Cognitive Services in our application, it is a kind of wrapper on based on this intelligent machine learning model. There would be a wrapper of a single small API and unified API, and it's a simple RESTful API. We just need to pass on our request to that API, and we will get the response based on this huge data or huge matured algorithms. Okay, so let's talk about some common artificial intelligence workflows we have in Azure. So one is machine learning, which we just saw, right? It's in predictive models based on the data and statistics. So we just saw how that things happens. We have anomaly detection. So this is like it detects some unusual patterns, right? Or events. So when just consider you have a live streaming data coming on from some factory, or you are using an IoT, and uh, it is giving you a data of how the machine state is all about. And when there is some disruption happens or unusual pattern of data comes in, and you get an alert like there is some issues, or there is some issues coming in that particular machine because there is an unusual data and all together. So you can predict, or based on this anomaly detection, like something is happening into that machine, we need to take care all about. The third is computer vision. So computer vision is, you can consider like a vision or a way to uh, infuse, or a way to have your machine or have your computer the capabilities of the way we do, or the way we analyze the world, or way we have the vision for the world, right? If you can see an image, you can figure it out what it is all about. You can detect the objects, you can detect the characters, or you can analyze everything the way you see the world. It is the same thing how you can make your computer looks to the outer world. Maybe you can say it's an the visual input, right? So altogether, so how this happens, how this computer vision happens. So to give a quick overview of this, or a quick intro to this. So just consider this is a simple image which is coming from any of the source. Maybe it's an image or video or something. And now what computer vision does is it divides a particular image into small pixels. Okay, like how the computer can see the world through digital image, like this files and all. So what it does, each digital image is actually an array of numeric values. So it divides these images into a numeric value, which can be considered as from 0 or 255, and then it further goes and divides each pixel like based on the colors or based on the object. So this gets very complicated, right, for a human eye. But for computer vision, that makes it more and more intelligent, and more give the power to understand more on this particular part. So we'll see how the things goes, like what all application or what all stuff you can use your computer vision altogether. So you can have the very first thing is about image classification. So what is image classification is all about? Like just consider you are asking an image, like what is this image of, like is whether it's an car, it just reply whether it's a taxi, or a human, or a computer, or a laptop. So it the image classification model use this that numeric pixel features to predict or to label the images, right? So we have the similar way, we have object detection. So if you see closely the images, we have two bus in that particular image, but for the second bus which is behind, it has just a windshield, like the front shield, but still it is trying to detect that particular stuff as a bus. So what is object detection? It is like what objects are in the image and where are they. Okay, so it is just a question I'm putting into your application, or it's an answer what computer vision or application can be added to. Okay, now the third is semantic segmentation. So the semantic segmentation models are you can say an advanced kind of model to classify the individual pixels in the image based on which your objects they belong to. Okay, so to ask or to semantic segmentation answers the questions like which pixels belong to which object. Okay, we'll see this in live in action, so you will be more you will get to know more how the computer vision works. The third is more the image analysis part, one of my favorite. So it will not just provide you and a response like saying there is a person or there is a dog or it's in a street, but it will let you know, it will give you a response saying that a person with a dog on street. Okay, so you can build that object detection and classification model to perform this image analysis, right? So generating a caption, a tag based on the image contents. That's the next comes as face detection or recognition. So face detection, as you can the name itself suggests, it try to identify the human faces in the images. It gives you an also a group of images kind of stuff, or there is a number of people or number of person in that images. It will further drill down to let you know the gender, to emotion, the age of that person which the face was detected. Further going, it also can let you know whether the person is wearing a specs, or does it have a has a mustache or beard, or whether the lady is having the lipsticks and all these things. So it can go all and all, like it can give you a nice description about of the person. It can also let you know if you you can also feed in some of the people if you interact daily with them with through this app. If the application interact daily with them, it can also recognize the same person with name and all if you feed in the data accordingly. Okay, the next and the most important and the most thing which I like is OCR, that is optical character recognition. So this model mainly extracts the text, or the extracts yes, the text in the images. So if you have an image, or if you have some number plate, if you have some board signs, the signboards and all, it can detect or it can read those text and let you know, understand, and behave accordingly. So we can see a small here. So you can very well go to Azure website, and if you go to this computer vision section, you can see a nice small demo where you can pass on, you can upload your own photos and see how the response is coming in. You can build a small demo also. It would be on GitHub. So what I will do is I will just try to upload one image which I have already have, and let's see how it responds. And then we will go through the other images which we have here. So this is my image, and you can see I'm standing, with a, what do we say, statue or anything. So how it identified me? It is not considering this statue as a person, though it looks like or is similar as in person, right? It is identifying me. It is identifying my face coordinates, and then it will try to analyze further down. So if you read over here, it's telling jeans because I'm wearing jeans here. Okay, it's clothing, then a person, outdoor, man standing, young food holding boy shirt. I don't know where these dogs and all coming, but that's fine. And it's giving my face coordinates, it's giving my gender, my approximate height and all, with the colors. And also this is what the way it's try to respond to your images, right? So this is the way a human will see. When you or me will see this image, we will, the first thing which will come into our mind is the same thing, right? A person standing here with wearing a jeans, having us wearing a specs and all those stuff. This is what we are getting in the response. So let's see this image. It has some different, 3 to 4 people sitting here. Let's see how it gives the response to this particular image. Select this. Okay. So now we have 3 persons here. let's see what all things it's trying to. So persons, okay, computer, sitting, table, man, group. Okay, it's telling there is a group of people, women, talking, desk. Cool. So a group of people sitting at a table using a laptop, right? So that is what we saw in the preceding steps, right? All the applications which we saw about the computer vision. So one part is this OCR. So there is a image with some text, and it has extracted those text in the form of easy readable kind of stuff, and you can use this. And based on what it tried to extract, you can have your business logic or your functionality done. So this is the power, or you can say, of the computer vision altogether. So we have a bunch of cognitive services offering in Azure, uh, which are being categorized into different area. You can say it as vision, we can say it language, we have decisions, we have speech and all. Okay, so this all belongs to kind of natural language processing in Azure. So we have text analytics services, which will try to uh, identify or detect the language which is coming on, which we provide. It will try to extract some key phrases, it will try to link some entity in that particular text or something. It will also try to find the sentiments analysis. Now these are very useful, or which are these are very much in use when we talk about all this text analytics services one. So just consider this conference, and just consider we have an hashtag AZConfDev, and we are trying, or we are asking to tweet all about on the Twitter about this conference, and we want to extract, or we want to get all these feeds based on this hashtag, and we want to show into our website. But we want to make sure when we are having the inputs from the outer world, it's always recommended, or we cannot use, or it's always advisable to have a check before getting in into live public domain. So it could be anything, it could be some bot, it could be some human, anything. So it is always advisable to have check whether the tweets which are coming in are in a state to show in some public websites or not. Okay, so here where the sentiment analysis can be useful, you can use this text analytics. You can pass those tweets. You can collect the tweets from Twitter. You can pass. You can use this text analytics service, and based on the response based for the sentiments, based on this key phrases, you can based like you can decide whether to show it, whether to post it, or whether to publish it in your website or not. Okay, now when I talk about sentiment, it gives in a score from 0 to 1. So 0 is the negative to 1 towards the positivity. Okay, so 0 is negative, 1 is positive. So between 0 to 1, you will always get the score. Okay, so you can decide if it is less than 0.4 means it is going to some negative sentiment. If it is more than 0.5, then it is more positive one. So let's quickly see this text analytics part. But before that, let me also may go through the speech and translated text, because we will see all this in action now. So let me go to this first three, and then we can come to language understanding. So we have also offering for speech, wherein you can have a live text to speech, or you can have live speech to text activities. Okay, like just consider you are talking, or you are speaking in some conference in a cross regional area where the people don't know your language, but you are talking in some consider you are in Arab, United Arab Emirates, and you are talking in Hindi. I'm just consider it for an example. And what this text to speech will do, it will take your what this speech to text will do, it will take your speech, or it will try to speech translation. I'm talking about all the three things in general, not with a specific one, but it will try to have or grab your speech, or and will translate into the language you want to, your desirable language, or you want that language to be happen. So it could be, you can use a live in the your PowerPoint presentations, you can have it in your live some video recordings and all. Okay, so we'll see how these things all together works. So let me open this again, the Azure website. So you can see these are some of the areas where the cognitive service comes in, like decision, language, speech, and vision. We talk about the anomaly detectors. There are content moderators, which we'll be looking into in couple of minutes. Uh, we have language, so we have text analytics here. We have speech. We just spoke about the speech to text, text to speech, and all. We have vision, that is computer vision. We like we gone through this computer vision demo. So let me open up this speech to text and let's see how it works. Okay, so and just remember, this all things are happening with a simple API call. Okay, you don't have to, be a master in programming or be a master in this algorithms. Nothing. This is all being given you as a great package altogether, as a great package for you, right? It is just you need to pass on your request. You need to see. You need to select what services you need to use. You need to pass on the request, and you will get the desired response. Okay, so here, if you see, this is a nice demo, and you can also learn how to build this. So it's there on GitHub. So let me refresh it once because I've opened this browser. It maybe that could cause issue. So when I will speak something, we have different languages, okay, and it will just try to have it in a text format. So let me select it in English India. Welcome to the conference. Cool. So you saw, I just like I was just reading it out in live, and it was trying to, it was translating. It was translating into text. So this is what the speech to text is all about, right? You can just imagine how you can use into your real life applications and all. Now let's see about text to speech. Okay, so again, text to speech, you just need to provide a text as an input, and you can have a desirable response as a in the speech form. Like it could be in, as of now, there are this all languages are available with different personas based on the languages, and you can also set up the speed of how the speech is coming out, or the pitch of the person who is speaking. Okay, so to just show you a demo, let me type it. Welcome to Azure Community Conference. Azure AI. So let me have it in some language. Okay, let's go with the default one.
Welcome to Azure Community Conference Azure AI.
Right, now I will change this to some different languages which we know. Okay, some different. Okay, we'll go with English India, and we'll have some change the persona of the voice. We'll increase a bit speed. Okay, and let's see now.
Welcome to Azure Community Conference, Azure AI.
Cool, isn't it? So how this is happening? So it is just you're passing your text and you're setting all these stuffs. This is a part of RESTful API. You can use SDKs. You can use in your own language. You will have a unified API keys for this. That's it. And you don't have to provide a lot of data. You don't have to provide huge input. You don't have to write any algorithms. Nothing. It gives you all together a machine as a learning service, machine learning as a service, and it's wrapped with an API, and you're just calling an API and infusing this super power features into your software and application, making your application more intelligent. It has that translation speech also. So let's quickly look into this because we are running out of time now, and I need to show you many things actually. So what I will do is to understand it more better, I will try to speak in Arabic, and I will try to translate it in English. Okay, so we can understand how the things works. So what I'm saying is God is one in Arabic. Let's see how whether it translated or not. Kul huwallahu ahad. All is God is one. Great. So this is what the power of Azure AI. This is what the power when you want to try when you want to infuse AI into your application using Azure. Okay, so we saw this few services. Next comes the language understanding part. Okay, so this is you must have used it definitely in your day-to-day use, like for Cortana and all this stuff, where you try to, or in the bots itself, when you try to speak or when you try to ask something, the application or the software in understand what you are trying to say, right? It tries to understand your language. So it is basically uh, you know. Uh, what all things it try to does is like language understanding, like it is very commonly known as Luis. Okay, so it tries to enable it enables you to train a language model that can interpret your natural language commands. Okay, so this is mostly widely used in bots also, wherever you want to have this and conversational bots and all. So basically what happens, let me open up this so you can understand much better. Okay, so you can there is a very cool site aidemos.microsoft.com, and you can have a huge set of demos for all the cognitive services or all the AI services which Azure offers, and you can see all this in live in action. So you can see this and home with, and you can just pass on these commands, and accordingly it will behave or it will act in that part. So if I say I need more light, see the lights have you know now there are more lights altogether. Now I will say go to energy server mode. I believe the light will be low. Cool, it's all off. Okay, give me more lighting for cooking. So for the kitchen servers, it has added the light. So what it is all happening? So what language model consists? It has mainly three primary components. Okay, first is utterance. Utterance is nothing but the phrase which we use to talk with the application or with the software. Like here the utterance is switch the light on. It could be please switch on the light, can you please on the light. So this is what is the phrases which comes in. This is what is utterance is known about. Then entities, second is entities. So entities are some like specific items that are referenced in the enter and your utterance. Like in this utterance the entity was light. Okay, so what you want exactly to target is entity. Is your the utterance was switch the light on, the entity was the light. Okay, now what was your intent? Your intent was to on it. Okay, so these are the three primary components, like utterances, entities, and intent. So what utterances? It's are the phrases that user might say. What entities are? It's the specific items that are referenced in an utterance, and what the intent identifies the desired action for an utterance, right? Like here it was to on the lights. So this is altogether the language understanding. It is mostly used in AIs, or sorry, in the bots. Now we have conversational AI as a part of AI workloads. Okay, and this are you saw this, right? In the initial when we started the presentation itself, we had a bot which was we were trying to communicate with, or we are trying to talk. So people often associate this term bot with chat interface on the website. So you must have some of the other day you have interacted with chat, and that was altogether how the conversational AI was working. Okay, so you can use it. There are many different scenarios in your business where you can use this conversational AI. It could be a customer support, or a digital assistant, or your online ordering websites, or an healthcare where you can ask about some health related stuff, or many other stuff. You can think n number of scenarios where you can use, or you have already used this conversational AI. Now the Q&A maker service, this is one of the offering for for you creating your bots. And when we saw the initial bot, the dear bot, which we had word with in the initial the start of the session. So what was that altogether? That was created using Q&A maker. So what Q&A maker does, it the bot doesn't know is Kasam Sheikh. The bot doesn't know what is altogether about Azure this community conference, who is the keynote speakers and agenda. But through the service we have given them, we have feeded all this data to that particular knowledge base. We have created a knowledge base with all this FAQs, with all this information which we wanted. that user can ask and user should know. And when we created this, from the existing document, it just gave us a simple RESTful API wherein we can pass in the request and get the response. And that was altogether that was happening. Now the Q&A maker service is among the first service which had a graphical user interface altogether to deal with, and it's very interesting. It's very useful service. You can think n number of scenarios. Again, you can feed in your product manuals, you can feed in your conference details, you can feed in your FAQ documents, you can give your live public URLs, the website URLs in to this service, and it will try to drag all the structured data into question and answer format. You can chimp in some chit chat, some pre-built chit chat. Depends upon the personas. Like it could be a professional one, it could be a friendly one. So if I have added for this service, I have added a friendly one. So if at all if I ask, uh, hey, how is your weekend? Okay, so this is not the question I have fed in into this system, but I have selected a chit chat for a friendly persona, and that's the reason it's trying from it is retrieving from that particular chit chat, and it is responding me like, I'm doing great, thanks for asking. Like it's like talking to your friend. You can have different persona sets into your application. It could be a professional one and all those stuff. If I ask him, uh, can you sing a song? Okay. Oh, great. It started with singing something la 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 tarara. So this is what happens when you try to have a friendly chat. So this all things you can use very well, use and have create your knowledge base altogether using Q&A maker service. Now when we talk about Azure bot service, so this Azure bot service provides a platform, okay, for creating, for deploying, for managing these bots. Now we create the bots using where we can use the Microsoft bot framework SDKs. We can use different services like Luis, that is language understanding. We can use Q&A maker and all those things. But we can have like you can deploy this bot altogether if using Azure bot service. Now, like by using this service, you can easily integrate your bot with Azure Cognitive Services, which I just mentioned about, like Luis and Q&A maker, and then you can connect your bot to multiple channels such as web chat, email, Microsoft Teams, Facebook Messenger, etc. So what I have done is I have created one Q&A maker service. I've used Azure bot, and then I created a web chat, and I just uploaded into a static website in Azure, and you can see everything live in action. Okay, so it is deployed on the Azure static website, or sorry, the storage static website, and it's a simple page. It's an embedded one, which the Azure bot service has given me the link. I've embedded it here, and it is working absolutely fine live. Okay, now some of the interesting part. Okay, we saw some of the common workloads. We saw different areas. We saw some offerings which has given. Now let's see how you can use this AI, Azure AI, in your day-to-day workload. So integration PaaS, like integration platform as a service, is one of the most used area into in the live world, where we use logic apps and event grids and all the service buses and all these integration services. So what I have done is there was a use case, okay, for an illegal parking workflow. Thanks to my friend Mr. Mandar, so he helped me in the all this stuff, and it use a simple logic apps. I will just let you know what it does. So just consider there are two storage. One is upload storage and one is process storage. Okay, so whenever just consider we have clicked an image and that image is coming to the uploads images. Once the image comes in, it triggers, okay, and through an event grid, our logic apps. And what our logic app does, it try to detect a face in that particular image. Okay, if it detects any face in that particular image, it calls an Azure functions which just blur the particular image of the person and drops the processed image in this storage. Now uh, why we are doing this? It's like when we are trying to click some photos with a person on a bike or something while coming in parking, uh, the client or the customer doesn't want it, to capture his or her face, any person face, just maybe due to some privacy issues or maybe their altogether their decision. So our aim was, to catch the person. If there is any face into that application, or sorry, in that image or something, we are just trying to blur it. So just see, this is altogether we are using event grade logic app. So this is iPaaS integration platform as a services area, and here we are using this detect face, the cognitive services, and we are trying to make our application more simpler, more easier, and more intelligent. So I will show you how this thing happen. uh, okay, so this is that logic app altogether. Okay, what I will do is, this is the Azure function, so you don't have to look much, like understand what exactly happening here. We can see the what is happening once the image is uploaded in that storage, and what is the processed image. Okay, so this was the two uh, blobs which I showed you in that image. So one is upload, there is nothing as of now, and one is processed image. Okay, again there is nothing. So let's do one thing. Let's upload one image. Okay, and I have one image. So this is face. So okay, and I'm uploading it. So consider that there was a click and some image came in. Now I can show you that image if you want. This is okay. So this was the image. So this is image of my friend. Okay, and you can see the image does has the person face here. So this should process and make that this image as blur. Okay, let's go to our application. Let's see whether it has triggered. Okay, so it has just triggered it out. Okay, and let's see whether now the another storage, the processed image blob does have the image. Yes, so it has created an image. Let's see how it has created. Cool. So it has detected the image, sorry, the face in that particular image, and the Azure function has just blurred it out. Okay, so we can also see that thing here. So this is what is happening altogether, right? Detect face. So it has detected a face, it has responded with some coordinates, and then these coordinates were sent to the Azure function, which used some assembly to blur the faces, and then just dropped into the processed storage. So this is how seamlessly you, or how you can think of using this cognitive or this features into your existing application or flows. Similarly, when most of the application must be using this, right? Altogether, your Azure SQL. So Azure SQL also comes with uh, um, a pre-built AI features. So it has two, as of now, it has two features which is inbuilt in Azure SQL, which you can very well use of, but still this intelligent insight is still in preview. So what this intelligent insight does, uh, it uses built-in intelligence, okay, to continuously monitor your database usage, uh, and it detects any disruptive events that could cause your poor performance. Okay, so it tries to monitor your usage, your database usage, and it tries to detect if there is if there could be any issues or disruptive things could come in for you, which can detect your performance, database performance. Now, not only this, once it detects, it analyzes or performed all the logs. It gives you an RCA, like what all things has happened, what was the root cause for causing this performance issue, and all this in a form of logs. Okay, so you can just see the image which is given, like it is just moving, it is just trying to monitor, then it finds some disruptive event, uh, it is passing through that AI capabilities, why it is happening, and then it try to give it in form of logs. Okay, but still it is in preview, so you can read more about it. It could get changed, it could get more improvised in near future. The another great thing is automatic tuning. Now, many of us know what is automatic tuning is, and you can have this feature in your Azure SQL with just a click. Okay, it does all the necessary performance analysis or the required changes in the indexes according to your use a database usage or the database performance which is happening. Okay, and it does provides you with what all indexes it has changed and what was the performance change happened once it was applied and everything. So these are the two things which you can do in your Azure SQL. Next is AI with serverless. So there is, I've just tried to create one application or just one flow where you can use, we are using the content moderator. Now what content moderator is an another Azure AI offering from Microsoft Azure, which detects any potential offensive or unwanted images, or it tries to uh, try to moderate any adult or racy contents in the videos or images. It tries to review your tool for the best results, right? So what I'm trying to achieve is, if you can see the diagram, it is like it is the user is uploading an image, and it is again storing into Azure Blob Storage. When it is stored in the Blob Storage, it is calling an Azure function, and then Azure function is passing that particular image through the image moderation or content moderation stuff, and whatever the response is, based on that particular response, we are trying to show whether the to show that image into our application or not. So it could be a kind of forum, it could be a kind of photo gallery or something, where in outer world the users are uploading the images, and we are trying to moderate that particular image or moderate that particular inputs to using this image moderation stuff. So I will not show you like how the functions are working, but I can show you what all things of few lines of codes you can use into for having this altogether workflow. So you can see there are only, we are passing some keys, we are passing an URL, that's it in a code, and just 4 to 5 lines of code in a it's a .NET C# one which I've used for the Azure function. And this is some of the result it gives, like, okay, so you can see it provides, and here you can see it's giving you so product review image approved. So this is some fixed text which I have given, like if it passes the moderation part from the content moderation service to just to respond as approved or denied. And here you can see I have tried to use some image which should get denied, or which should get denied for the a kind of image, or it should identify some ratios or adult contents over there, and this is the form it is just denied. So with just simple few lines of code, you can uh, have your inputs or have your data moderated, and accordingly you can go with your business clauses. Okay, so I missed out this for the past from the automatic tuning part. So this is what I said, explained you, right? So the automatic tuning which was happening in the Azure SQL, it tries to tune, it tries to let you know. It is just an integration with the automation, Azure automation, wherein you can pass that particular some data with PowerShell scripts, and using Power Automates or using Azure Logic Apps, you can have that particular logs emailed to yourself. Okay, so here we have come almost to end of our session, and I believe I'm right on time. Let's see. So here are the quick resources that you can learn. So best is to have go to the Microsoft Learn, and you can learn AI fundamentals, or you can learn AI, all the things related to Azure AI from Microsoft Learn. There are some virtual trainings happening, so you can visit this link for having all the stuff known about the training schedules and all. If you're trying, or if you're planning for a certification, the best certification as of now for the Azure AI is AI 900, that is Azure AI Fundamentals, and AI 100, that is Azure AI Associate Engineers. Okay, and you can go to this link for getting more about that particular certification details. Okay, so to make this session more interesting, and to know whether you understood what all things you learned from this very quick overview, I can say. I know it's a very huge topic, and I was very fast to, because I wanted to cover many things, but still I'm not able to. But I will make sure that the things reaches to you. with my blogs and with my YouTube channels and all. But here's the quiz, and you can answer to this quiz. So the way you can answer is you can see an image. You can go to the Twitter, and whatever the answer is, like A, B, or C, just type answer and the A, B, C, whatever, and tag me in your tweet. That is Kasam Sheikh. You mention my Twitter handle Kasam Sheikh, and with an hashtag AZConf. Okay. Now here also I'm trying to gather this using a logic apps, all your answers, and it could be feedbacks, everything. And the one lucky winner would be will may get some Azure books, which I have written one book, demystifying Azure AI, using right AI into your business. I will see that it reaches to you. So it will be only one winner. So this is the question. So you are developing an application that must take English input from a microphone and generate a real-time text-based transcription in Hindi. Which service should you use? Is it speech? Is it text analytics? Or whether it's a translator text? Okay. So hope you have seen this question. Hope you understood and how to answer is. Cool. Now make sure that we have a break after this session, and the next session which is coming in for all the 6 different tracks. It's all about containers, building APIs, serverless, okay, Azure functions. Cool. So we have many interesting sessions lined up for throughout the day, but these are some of the next sessions which are coming on right after the break, lunch break. So make sure you do attend this. Thanks to our sponsors for today's today's conference, and these are the different communities all together who have come to make this happen. So you can say Dear Azure is one among them. Uh, all the communities again, and a big thank you for having me and attending this session. I hope you have learned something new from this or something interesting from this. If you have any doubt, you can just reach me out over the LinkedIn, uh, over the Twitter, or you can also come to this chat box. Any questions? Thank you.